Listen closely as I share the tale of Ethan, a man whose life was forever altered after a horrific event. He had a glimpse into the future and a message that could have the same impact on you. I promise you, if you stick around, this narrative will change the way you think and feel. Hear it with pleasure. It started on a chilly night on December 9th, outside of Ridgeville, a little hamlet in the American Midwest on Route 66. My name is Ethan. Working all day, I was finally ready to return home. The asphalt was coated with a thin layer of ice, and the sky was overcast. It was my goal to return to Sarah and our two children, Olivia and Jack, despite my exhaustion. The peace and quiet of the nighttime drive has always been one of my favorite times to go for a drive. However, that evening, a change occurred. Something awful seemed to be about to happen. There was an unusual tension in the air. Finally, it happened. In front of my eyes, a deer materialized from thin air and crossed the road. To escape it, I lost control of the car and swerved sharply. There was a severe skid, and my Ford Explorer tipped over many times before it finally came to a halt on its side. I vividly recall the ear-piercing roar of twisted metal, the cracking of glass, and the subsequent plunge into complete blackness. I was in a totally different place when I came to again. The vehicle had taken me out of it. I found myself in a tranquil and cheery scene illuminated by gentle, comforting light. A profound sense of tranquility pervaded the otherworldly setting that surrounded me. It was as if I were weightless, soaring through the air. An ethereal being, glistening with knowledge and love, drew near to me. My emotions were those of profound curiosity and awe, rather than fear. The luminous entity grinned as it greeted me. It was silent but had a two-way conversation with my thoughts. It wasn't my time yet, a soothing voice told me. I had a lot to accomplish here on Earth. Then, as if in a movie, visions started to play out in front of my eyes. In the first vision, I could see the future of my career flourishing. In my mind, I was accepting a distinguished award while seated on a stage surrounded by friends and coworkers. Everyone in the room was cheering and smiling. I was filled with immense joy and appreciation for all the effort and perseverance that had led me to this point. Because of this vision, I learned the value of keeping going even when the going gets tough. It all made sense and paid off in the end. Every sacrifice, every night of effort, every time I had to pick work before leisure. After that, the focus turned to the shadowy parts. When I looked into the future, I saw myself experiencing hardship and loss. My loved ones' expressions were warped by the anguish they were through. While our children were growing up and dealing with their own set of problems, I'd witnessed my wife, Sarah, go through times of personal difficulty. As I tried to make sense of everything, I watched myself sobbing. It was as though I were there, experiencing every sentiment, every tear, and every heartbeat of that moment. In spite of everything that hurt, I also noticed progress. My strength and resilience had grown. Every difficulty I had faced had helped me grow in wisdom and insight. The importance of love and relationships became clear to me when I realized that no matter how dark things become, there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. Afterwards, the luminous entity granted me a brief encounter with my late grandma. In that spot, time seemed to stand still. She spoke to me tenderly, encouraging me to be thankful for the now and to not worry about what the future holds. Be there for your loved ones at all times. She drilled it into my head that relationships need tender love and care. Her comments soothed my spirit and brought a newfound awareness to my being. Her wisdom and love were palpable, and I realized that her spirit would continue to direct my steps long after she left this world. I had visions that everyone would find fascinating, given by the beam of light. The burning of forests, pollution of oceans, and extinction of species made me realize how critical it is to protect our planet. On the other hand, I witnessed individuals from every corner of the globe banding together to create an impact. In an effort to improve the future, I witnessed young scientists, activists, and community leaders collaborating. Every little thing matters, and we can all make a difference, I realized. I witnessed firsthand how acts of kindness, no matter how tiny, may have a profound impact on the lives of those around us. In the face of insurmountable odds, I witnessed the transformative power of optimism and faith. I was informed that every person has the power to make a positive impact and that all people are interdependent. Because of these visions, I now know that our lives are interdependent and that every choice we make counts. At last, the celestial creature disclosed an unfortunate but vital fact. I will be bereaved of a loved one, my father. In 2018, I felt the anguish and sorrow that would come with that loss as I had a glimpse of that time. I looked up to and emulated my dad from a young age. Even though it was heartbreaking, seeing that vision opened my eyes to new ways of looking at life. Time spent with loved ones is fleeting and invaluable, I've come to understand. I realized I couldn't afford to take anything for granted and instead had to make the most of every minute. Being a being of light brought me comfort, and the knowledge that life continues on even after tragedy strikes, and that even in the darkest of times, we may emerge stronger and wiser. A sea of worried and friendly faces greeted me as I awoke at a hospital. With her eyes filled with sorrow and relief, Sarah was there, clutching my hand. As she tried to make sense of what was going on, Olivia and Jack stood by her side. Despite my serious wounds, I managed to stay alive. What I had gone through had a tremendous impact on me. I had to tell someone about what I had seen and learnt immediately. Over the next several days, I filled Sarah and the kids in on my story, detailing how those visions had changed my perspective on life and the world. Writing down my thoughts and feelings allowed me to open up to those closest to me and eventually a larger audience. Numerous individuals were moved to greater self-awareness, compassion, and thankfulness after hearing my tale. There was deep meaning in the being of light's words and the sights I had, and I wished to share it with others. In 2018, when my father passed away, I realized the prophecy had come true. Despite the excruciating agony, I was ready. The message from my grandmother and the words of the creature of light brought me consolation. Living, learning, and doing my best were all things I knew I had to keep doing in order to pay tribute to my dad. My narrative eventually became a call to action and introspection for everybody who read it. As before, I kept writing, giving talks at conferences, and using other platforms to spread the word about what happened. It seemed like every time I shared my experience, I was guiding someone else toward their own purpose in life and making them appreciate the importance of connections more. My life-altering brush with death altered my perspective. It opened my eyes to the significance of each moment and connection and let me view life through fresh eyes. I realized the importance of appreciating the present moment, embracing uncertainty, and trusting in the transformative power of genuine human connection. For reasons beyond simply sharing my tale, I have chosen to make my experience public in the hopes that it may serve as a source of inspiration and introspection for anyone who comes across it. My experience serves as a call to reflect on the significance of our deeds and connections, to be more mindful in our daily lives, and to face the future without fear. The power to confront adversity and the wisdom to recognize the precariousness of life are two things I wish to impart to people through my writing. This is only the start of my narrative. I have a lot more to say and teach. I intend to make a positive impact on the world, spread love and gratitude, and encourage others along their own paths as I go forward on my journey. I'd want to take a moment to reflect with you on the fragility and value of life now that Ethan's narrative has come to a close. We lose sight of what matters most in our daily pursuit of objectives and achievements, the people we care about, our physical and mental well-being, and the environment in which we live. My question is this: how much time do we actually spend with the people we care about? What level of dedication do you have to helping the earth? Do we know what we're doing and how it will affect others? Conscious decisions, tiny acts of kindness, and encouraging words can add up to big changes.